tax reform, 2010 DTC and 2011 GST. So who was the Prime Minister then? Manmohan Singh. So he said that when tax reform is complete, then in India we will have two taxes. All the direct taxes, so they will be subsumed with DTC, and all the indirect taxes, they will be replaced by GST. Now reform meaning is clear. Okay. Moving to something new, which is totally different from the old one. Definitely it requires courage, commitment and so many things. So government decided firstly to go for GST. Going for both the tax reform at the same time, it may be too risky. It may be too risky. So firstly, why GST? Because indirect taxes, their tax base is bigger now. So let the indirect tax reform, that is GST, become successful. And once GST is settled and it becomes successful, then it will give the government enough courage to go for second reform. So till today GST, it is comfortable, but there were certain issues related to GST. And in between, after 3 years of GST, then came lockdown. And every government, state as well as center, all the government along with we people, they suffered loss of revenue to the government as well. So then again, the economy was basically, it was totally out of track. Then we started going seeing unlockdown. And it is very good that Indian economy has fully recovered. Again, GST has picked up the momentum, and we are hoping that now just before the election, I don't think direct tax reform will be taking place. Maybe possible when the next election is held, and whosoever comes to the power, we will have to wait and watch whether India can go for direct tax reform or not. But yes, definitely we have to discuss things in detail regarding GST. So I am going to start GST, and only today you will have a complete command over the concept of GST. Because regarding GST, lots of confusion is there. Different people, they have their own concept of GST, making the things very, very confusing. So coming to now GST, first thing, reform. Regarding taxation, all the provisions, so they are mentioned in the Constitution. Concept of GST, it is of 2011. But GST was implemented way back in 2017. It took almost 6 years to get GST implemented. So why GST got delayed? So reasons were economic, reasons were political as well. I am not supposed to discuss the political issue in detail in brief, because we are going to give up the old taxation policies completely and coming out with new, which are totally different from the old one. So that is possible only when it is allowed by the Constitution, because the taxation provision is mentioned where? In the Constitution, and you cannot go beyond the powers of Constitution. It will be null and void. So first thing is, it was to amend the Constitution. So bill number 122 and amendment number 101. You know difference between these two? Okay, so that is the main problem, because see 2014 election. So just before the election, different parties, they come out with their manifesto. Now BJP, if you see their manifesto, so big things they have announced. For example, we will bring the black money back to India and every Indian will get 15 lakh each. If you remember, have you received those money? Maybe next time 30 lakh. Okay. We will implement GST. So big promises they were made. So at least some of them, okay, they need to fulfill. Otherwise the credibility will be gone. Okay. So this government decided to go for GST, and as soon as possible. But the first thing was GST bill has to be passed through the parliament. Now regarding monetary issues, the provisions of the Constitution is very tough. GST has to be passed not only through the parliament but also through the at least 50% of the state assembly. So at that point of time, we had 29 states. So 50% means 15. Okay, so passing the GST bill through assembly, that was not a big issue. Big issue was bill through the parliament. Okay, and moreover, that bill needs to be passed with the with 2/3 majority. Normally 51%, but here it is 2/3. In the Lok Sabha, this government had got the majority, but that was not the case where in Rajya Sabha. So GST bill got stuck in Rajya Sabha because there it was opposed by Congress, supported by two parties. RJD, you know RJD from where? From Bihar, Lalu Yadav ji party, and Communist parties from West Bengal or maybe Kerala. So regions basically, it was not economic, it was political. Political because this concept of GST of 2011, it was of Congress now. And at that point of time, the BJP was in opposition. So when Congress was trying to pass GST bill, so it was opposed by whom? Opposed the BJP. And it was because of BJP that bill could not be passed. Now just reverse happened. So yes, so that was opposed. But you know this government is very dominant. Very dominant. Behind the curtain, what happened we don't know. Something happened. And then Congress was completely isolated. Suddenly we came to know that RJD started supporting the bill. Communist party, they supported the bill. You know behind the curtain what happened? Okay, I don't know. Something happened. And then GST bill was passed. So that was basically, it took lots of time to get the GST bulk of the bill passed through the parliament. And yes, the first state assembly from where GST bill was passed, it was Goa. So passing the GST bill through the assembly, it is not a big issue when it is passed through the parliament. So GST has become an act. So that is basically political issue or legal issue. We are concerned with the economic issue. Now what is the full name of GST? Goods and Service Tax. Regarding goods, I have discussed that in case of goods, both the governments are involved. Goods can be produced and sold at two different points of time. So when goods are produced, central government going for excise, and when they are sold, state government going for VAT. So in case of goods, both the governments were involved, center as well as state. So GST got delayed because of the issues related with goods, not with services, because the service tax was completely coming under. Service tax was completely coming under central government. The state government, they don't have any role to play. So major issue, it was goods, not because of services. So let us see what were those issues and how they have been resolved. Some of the issues, because it seemed that this BJP was in a hurry. So at that time, Mr. Jaitley was the finance minister. So he committed some blunder. He committed some blunder basically. And because of that, there was a time when GST became a big headache for the present government. And some people, they started talking about like this, okay, leave GST, let us go back to old tax system. So GST has many dimensions. And on all the issues, questions are going to come. 4 to 5 questions they have come in the last 6 to 7 years. Still, areas are there, from there question can come. So let us see GST, but straight away, I don't discuss anything. Remember, my way of teaching is totally what? So I'm going to take one example, case of goods, because there was no issue with services. And we will see in the old tax system how the things were working, what were their drawbacks, and then in the same example, I will apply GST. And then everything will be, okay. Now, firstly, when the goods are produced, central government going for excise, and when they are sold, the state government going for VAT. To make the calculation easy, I will go for 10% excise duty and 10% VAT, only to make the things easy. Listen to me carefully, it's very easy. And once you are, try to understand first. Because in money matters, I am telling you so many times, you all are smart. All are smart. You will find the things very easy. And particularly, if your background is mathematics, so definitely you will have an edge over the other people. Because mathematics is the father of, there are 2 subjects only on the earth. Logic, mother of all the subjects. Behind everything, you have some logic, and mathematics, father of all the subjects. All the subjects, and then they have to be merged with mathematics. Other papers, they have certain limitation. When I was doing masters from Delhi School of Economics, then the books of economics, so nothing was economics, everything was mathematics. calculus, integral calculus, differential calculus, graphs, only that. Only mathematics people they can understand. And that's why in DU and the West Bengal, okay, if your background is not mathematics, so you cannot go for, you are not eligible for economics honors there. Normally economics we mean, okay, poverty, unemployment, these are application. What I have seen teachers said, I saw one of the teacher on YouTube taking 17 classes on infrastructure. How many roads they were constructed, detail of all the projects. Do you think this question will going to come? Or the application of infrastructure? Because from the first class till today, all the time I am using infrastructure. So those aspects of infrastructure will come. Okay, how digital infrastructure can reform the rural economy? I hope you got this question. Can digital infrastructure transform the rural economy of India? In making, to convert rural economy into manufacturing hub, discuss the role of digital infrastructure, maybe physical infrastructure. So these types of questions they will come. It's not that how many infrastructure projects they are going on. Keep on dictating. First infrastructure project, Delhi to Mumbai, length is this, total cost is this. Second is this is what YouTubers are doing. Coming to now, so mathematics, father of the subject. I remember very well one incident I can give. I am saying why mathematics is said to be the father, because every subject has its limitation. And I was doing audit of one of the bank, main branch in Delhi. I hope it was Bank of India. So we auditors have the power to go for physical verification. In the books, it is mentioned this balance 5,000 crore, this balance CRR money 2,000 crore. In the books it is there, na? Money has to be present physically as well. So that is called stock taking, physical verification. So we said, we will go for physical verification. They said yes, so that these two can reconcile. Maybe possible in the books it is mentioned, but lockers are empty. They have taken out the money, or maybe in the local market they have given the same money as loan, earning lots of money. Anything is possible. Money, you know what money can do. Okay, so then security measures were taken. Then we reached the basement. Okay, one can say how many doors were there, and hall like this were there. Okay, and big iron boxes of this size, it was there. All were having some lock. So manager opened all the locks. So this much again, half of this you can say hall size of the strong room was there, and all the boxes they were filled with currency. And he told us, sir, please count. And that too without using machine. Now, if suppose this room is filled with cash, is it possible to count boxes, big boxes, completely filled up with the gaddi of what? 100, 500? That cannot possible. If I start, it's very boring, na? If I start counting, my half life will be gone. So auditing is done on sampling basis. You know sample? So we can go for counting 2 or 3 boxes. Okay. After auditing comes investigation. So there 100%. But auditing is sampling. So even if I start counting notes of 2 boxes, it will be taking we people 6 months. And the main thing is a wastage of time and very boring. So my commerce subject, simply surrendered. Now I cannot help you. This was my limit. Then came mathematics, father of subject. Then we started using mathematical tools. You know that height, width, and what is that? The formula for area is. So using those formula, we started counting. It cannot be scientifically correct, but at least a rough idea. So every subject, and that's why mathematics is said to be the best subject you can have. See, this is very simple, isn't it? If you know mathematics, question is same, but you can solve this question by this method, that method, this method. Maybe by making graph also you can find the answer, and even if not comfortable, you can go for elimination process as well. So mathematics creates flexibility in your mind. Your mind starts working in different direction. So that is increasing your analytical skill.